All right, y'all, we're back. It's me, Erica. This is your P-Valley review, season finale, episode 8. We down here. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the demon know you stopped by. So we're going to start this. I just started it all over. So we start off where we left off. Montavia says to Haley, where's my motherfucking money? Where's my motherfucking money, girl? So we find out that Haley is a corporate accountant. That's why she's good with the money, knowing where to move stuff and things like that. He starts choking her because she tries to run. He starts choking her. Then was there a knock on the door? I think there was a knock on the door. I feel like it was a knock on the door. Oh yeah, it was a knock on the door, and she runs towards the door, and he was like, you ain't going nowhere, girl. This and that, and he's choking her or whatever. And then she was like, there's cameras all over here. Which is true, there's cameras. And luckily, and he takes his hands off of her, and he was like, well, you better dance. You better dance. So Lil Murda in Mississippi come out. Lil Murda looks dope as hell. Now, in the scene on the TV, you can't see it unless I missed it, but I couldn't see it. But his hair is blue. I follow him on Instagram, the actor who plays Lil Murda. And his hair was blue in that scene. He had a blue mink on. Baby, he ends up throwing the mink out into the crowd. Uncle Clifford was like, honey, let me go back. Let me go get this jacket, this coat, because this is my man's coat, girl. You're not about to take my man's coat. And then Keyshawn's boyfriend, everywhere she is, he's leering, lurking, looking at her everywhere she is, he's not too far behind. It's so gross. It is so gross. And even talking about it gives me like a little bit of an anxiety, because it's just like, I can't, that's too much. It's too much. They having a good time. Never Scared is on the wheels of steel. Mississippi is doing her thing. Uncle Clifford is having a good time, waving her coat, honey, waving it around and stuff like that. They just having a real good time, dancing and everything. Then Mercedes is in the back with Coach. She asked Coach for $10,000. He was like, the most I paid is $300. And she was like, well, you want to be an investor? He was like, what you think, I'm a walking billfold? And she was like, girl, I need this money. Let's see what we could do. So basically, he's telling her he could put her up. If you basically can be somebody that I fuck on, and I'll give you all the money that you want. Basically, that's what I got out of it. Y'all tell me what y'all heard him say. All that whispering and stuff. I'll be like, I can't hear y'all, and I'm tired of rewinding it all the time. I don't even have the subtitles because I'm watching a link. So Lil Murda comes down off the stage or whatever, and his friend is there with Lil Murda's friend comes there with the CEO of some record label. So this woman asks Lil Murda to sign her titty. So it's like to the CEO, this label dude, it looks good to him that, everybody likes Lil Murda and stuff like that. Keyshawn's boyfriend keeps calling her, Key, he keeps calling her, and she's like ignoring him, trying to ignore him and handle her business. So Uncle Clifford and Big L is in the back, and at one point Autumn is in, she's in the other room, and Uncle Clifford can see, and she takes her top off, which everybody knows you can't take your top off. So that was her signaling to them that, hey, I'm probably in trouble, come see about me, right? So Diamond is outside, and does he tell Diamond to go check on her? And then Diamond says, I can't. And so Big L says, I'll go do it. Right when Big L goes to do it, he gets a text from Gidget's boyfriend, because he got the drop off with the stuff. So Diamond's outside with this little boy that would been walking around with the dude that's on parole, and he lets him in. Luckily, he lets him in. Shouldn't have let him in, but he lets him in. He finds Mercedes, and he gives Mercedes the picture of Haley, the missing persons picture. And in the missing persons picture, you can see a hand on Haley's shoulder. Of course, it's just her cropped out, but you can see the ring of the man that Haley is in the room with, and Mercedes puts it all together, because Mercedes sees the whole picture on a man. So she looks at everything on the person, so she notices the ring in the picture. She was like, oh shit. So the CEO of the music label, they sit in the back, and they says, Oh no, she calls Uncle Clifford and Big L. She keeps calling them, like, and then knocking on the door and nobody's answering the door, trying to, go see about Haley. So in the other room, the CEO of this music label is talking to Murda and Mississippi, and they sitting there with his homeboy. And he was like, I need an authentic gangster. So everybody looking like, we know what Lil Murda's been doing around here with Uncle Clifford. We know what the T is. Everybody know what the T is. Mississippi know what the T is. His homeboy know what the T is. And of course, Lil Murda does. So he's like, I need a real gangster. Not, I need to be your manager. And he's already looking like, no, this is my manager right here. How you saying I need to be the manager? You gonna have real studio time, gassing him up, trying to get him to sign an old raggedy ass 360 deal. He was like, we're about that business right now. To Uncle Clifford walks in. Uncle Clifford walks in and was like, hey, what's going on, y'all? So, and puts her hand on Lil Murda's shoulder. So, unfortunately, Lil Murda falls right back into it easily falls into this toxic masculinity. He has to perform masculinity for these people right after he just said, we need a real gangster. And real gangsters aren't publicly, you hear what I said, real gangsters aren't publicly walking around with non-binary, non-gender, non-conforming folks. They just not, right? It's done in secret, right? We sucking and fucking in secret, right? So Keyshawn is looking real nervous or whatever. Then when Uncle Clifford walks out, Uncle Clifford gets the clue from Lil Murda. And it made me feel bad because it was like, damn, you can't even be who you are. You just can't be who you are because you got to perform masculinity in a certain way. I want to read what Notori Hall, is that her name? Katori Hall from P-Valley, the writer, creator. She said, here she goes. We saw Lil Murda and Uncle Clifford's relationship bloom into a revolutionary romance never. When Rome, the new hip-hop executive, spews out homophobic comments, Lil Murda quickly leans into toxic masculinity and joins in because he used the F word. He was talking about, like, I understand people don't know if they want to be men or women these days and stuff like that. So Keyshawn sticks up for Uncle Clifford and said, honey, she will whoop your ass. Don't play. Period. Don't play. And then Katori said, with the rampant homophobia in the hip-hop world, Lil Murda knows he will have little to no success as an out rapper. The fear of failure is real. I ask, how many Southern rappers do you know that present in a hyper-masculine way that Lil Murda does? The next season, we'll see if Lil Murda will continue to choose the money over love. Very good, very good, very good, very good. That's what she said. I thought what she said was good because he really did. And that's one of the reasons that Charles and I was talking about how scary we were, like thinking like, okay, something bad could happen. And something bad could happen because when you're performing masculinity or toxic masculinity, it can turn violent and lead to somebody's death. And so everybody has been kind of on eggshells with Lil Murda and Uncle Clifford's relationship because everybody's just waiting for that time to come. And it came, but not with the violence, which is appreciated. It just came with the homophobia and the homophobic comments, right? So Uncle Clifford walks out, and then Keyshawn's boyfriend is outside calling Derek, right? Calling her. She was like, I'm working. And she was like, I'm motherfucking working. Is that what she said? I said, oh, girl, you gonna get your ass whooped. It's not funny. That's not funny. It's not. She was like, that's just a regular customer. She was like, I'll be there in a motherfucking minute. So then they go back to, what's her name? What's the girl's name? Autumn. And they knock on the door. Mercedes knocks on the door and says it's bottle service. So she comes in with the bottles and everything. And Montavious is looking like, what the fuck, right? So Uncle Clifford is looking sad in the other room. And because she was rejected. And she knew ultimately that's what's going to happen, but it's like, okay, dang, okay. So Diamond gets to the room. Little Murda shows up. Diamond, get to the room. Oh, they're telling Diamond to get to the room because the girl is in there with no clothes on. Both her, Mercedes and her is in there. He's like, what them bitches doing? They know better than that. So what happened? Oh, his dog. That's a big ass pit bull. So Little Murda shows up to the room and they just have this back and forth. And it was really sad. Little Murda looked like he wanted to cry. Uncle Clifford looked like she wanted to cry. It just was really a sad thing. It's just like, and I imagine that a lot of, that's why gay men don't want to be in relationships with men on the DL, because they can't be out. And it's like, you want to reject me in person. You want to say, you want to perform this toxic masculinity in a way that is not, it hurts me. And, we got to see that. He looked like he wanted to cry. He looked sad. And he was like, she was like, you need to go. You need to get out of here until you could be who you supposed to be, until you could be who you are. Get out. And that's just what it is. And I'm sure there's a lot of conversations that go on like that, where there are two men, well, there is a man, or I'd say in a homosexual relationship where a man is living a lie and can't be out. And I'm sure there's a lot of men who have conversations with DL men in this manner. Like, you're gonna have to, it's starting to get hot, you're gonna have to come out. So the CEO of the label is really interested in Mississippi, because he's like, that Black Barbie shit, that's, the stripper to rapper formula that I used to talk about, that we see in reality, is what this man is talking about. That Black Barbie shit, they eat that shit up, right? So Keyshawn walks away. Keyshawn's boyfriends follow her. He tells her, you better get your shit and let's get ready to go. I'm tired of you around these niggas. He just wants to manage me, or is he want to manage you, or is he trying to fuck you? He yokes her up. Diamond, when they move away, you can see Diamond off in the corner. Diamond sees what's going on. So back in the room with Mercedes and Haley. If Haley wants me to leave, I'll leave, she basically says. So Haley is clear that Mercedes knows who she is, and Montavious is clear that Mercedes knows who Haley is. So Mercedes breaks the bottle, and he was like, where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? She was like, it's in the club. It's in the club, right? So Haley runs. He was like, I'm gonna let you go. You better be back in 5 minutes. They try to get away from him, but he ends up, getting Mercedes and getting the bottle and act like he was going to harm Mercedes. Baby, Haley goes, she runs to the dressing room. She gets changed. She looks for the gun. The gun is gone. So, baby, we like, okay, because Keyshawn got the gun, because she showed the gun to Keyshawn. Keyshawn got the gun, right? She gets ready to get in the car and leaves. I get ready to leave. She doesn't leave. She gets ready to leave, and she goes back in, and she was like, the money's right here. Little Murda comes out again for another set. So he comes out again. Everybody's performing. So all this stuff is going on in the background. Diamond and Derek. Diamond walks into the bathroom where Derek was using the bathroom, and he was like, you need to keep your hand off of these girls. He's like, man, don't get involved in none of this. This is none of your damn business. You can't be putting paws on these girls. And then the white boy says something about you gutter niggas. So they start fighting. They go back to Haley and Mercedes. It's like, where's the money? And then while he's looking at, he has the money, he's pointing out, he's like, is all of it here? $250,000. All of it here? And she was like, yeah. And then she ends up telling him that Autumn died when she was trying to get away from him in the flood or whatever. And so they start fighting again, fighting, right? Everybody's fighting, child. It was a mess. Then Diamond and Derek are fighting. They come out of the bathroom. They come into the club. I don't know where the shots came from first. because people started running out. So no, Diamond and Derek came out. It was still people in the club, I believe. No, it wasn't. It wasn't people still in the club. Everybody had ran out of the club. Where did the shot come from that cleared the club out? Was that with Diamond and, not with Diamond, was that with Haley and Mercedes? It must have been. It must have been. Baby, in the middle of Diamond whooping Derek's ass, they was getting with each other. I'm gonna give Derek that. They was getting with each other. Keyshawn's stupid ass, bitch. She pulled a gun on fucking Diamond. I was like, girl, the cycle of abuse. You get you protecting your abuser. And I said to myself, maybe she wants to kill him. Maybe she wants to kill him because she had that gun that Autumn had in the locker. Maybe she wants to kill him. Maybe she don't want Diamond to kill him because she told Diamond, we don't want you killing nobody. We don't want anything else on your conscience. Maybe she's going to kill him. That's what I'm thinking, because that would be the only reason why you would save him, is so that you could do it yourself. Because, honey, Diamond was getting ready to get... I was just like, what, Keyshawn? Girl. Then when she's holding up the gun towards Diamond, Diamond's looking at her like, bitch, are you for real? Are you for real, bitch? Okay, this happens a lot. This happens a lot. You go up for somebody who's being abused, and then they turn around and protect their abuser. It happens all of the time. More times than we would like to admit, but it does happen. And so when they're standing there, the gunshots go off, and that's the gunshots in the back. So Diamond grabs his gun. He runs down, runs to the room, and then he's running around the corner, and then 3 more shots come through the room, and then you see blood coming from underneath the door. So then the next morning, I was like, oh shit, what happened, right? So the next morning, there's a news report, and Grandmama is sitting on Loretta Devine's character, yes, I hope she comes back, sitting on the porch, dressed in all black, listening to the news report, and the news report was like, and you know, the people down at the Pynk, it was called murder night, and it was 20 people injured, no deaths. Did you notice that? No deaths, right? 20 people injured. And some people don't want the club to close or something, or the casino to come or something like that. And then Loretta Devine's character said, me, motherfucker. I love an old cussing lady. I love it. There is nothing better than an old cussing ass woman. Anyways, so they show Mercedes sitting on the corner. Now, I believe that Mercedes shot Montavious. That's what I believe. Mercedes shot and killed Montavious. She's sitting on the curb in front of the church that her mother just stole for her. I don't understand how she already got logos and shit already up. Is that the other church? Anyway, she's sitting in the front of church with her track jacket on and her workout pants and her cornrows, and she's sitting there. And her mother walks up. What does Rodney call her? 22-piece Patrice. She walks up. And she's crying. She was like, does God forgive? You said God gives second chances. She was like, third and fourth chances and fifth chances too. But she gets down low to her and she says, but I'm dead to you. And she walked in that church, and Mercedes is hitting on the door, and mama. She said, bitch, you remember you said I was dead? Okay. So Uncle Clifford comes out dressed in all black like the Omen. And so they walk into the courthouse. They dress in all black, ready for the auction. The bidding starts. Andre is there with Brandy and Mayor Ruffin dressed in all red. It was cute how they had it. I wish that Andre had on more blue, because it would have been like blue, red, and then all of them in all black, and then Haley in white. Of course, this light-skinned white savior comes in and saves the day. She's dressed in all white. She comes through. I said, come on, bitch. She come through. She looking like the corporate accountant she is. And they start bidding. When she hits the bid, I think at $65,000, Andre looks over. He was like, what? He looks over, she looks at him like, nigga, you ready? We about to do this bidding. They start bidding. At 75,000, Haley calls 150,000. He was like, what? So Mayor Ruffin's like, you better outbid this girl. He was like, I can only go up to 200,000 because I can't look like I have a whole bunch of money. I'm only going up to 200,000. That's the cap. So he calls the people, the investor, and when the guy answers, Haley calls out again and she says $250,000. And the guy said, going once, going twice. Andre hangs up the phone on the guy. He doesn't even say anything to the guy. I think all those conversations that Andre and Haley had about saving, the Pynk, like he just really took that like, okay, I'm just going to eat that. Because she kind of, planted some seeds in his head about taking care of where he's from. You understand what I'm saying? And not selling it off to these people. So that maybe that was his motivation. That's what I think his motivation was, to just let her buy it. So she buys it or whatever. Baby, Mayor Ruffin, he was so pissed. It was so funny when Mayor Ruffin said grandma called him. She was like, fuck you. Bitch, did you see the way Mayor Ruffin, Isaiah Washington, walked up to Uncle Clifford and Grandma, and walked up and he looked at Uncle Clifford and then directed his attention to the grandmother? Did you notice that, the way he looked at her? Okay, I want to make sure y'all notice that. He told Uncle Clifford, you can work the buffet table down at the casino. So they win the thing or whatever. So when they walking out, it was so funny. When they walking out of the courthouse, he was like, you better figure it out. You better, Mayor Ruffin is really, really upset. He said, I can't go over the cap. The cap is $200,000. Bitch, at one point when Haley bid, Loretta Devine said, oh girl, that's more than what my coochie costs. Coochie, why y'all bringing back coochie? So when they was leaving out the courthouse, it was funny because somebody said, does that make that bitch my boss now? Brandy caught it. Y'all notice that? Brandy looked at her husband and looked at Haley, and she figured it out. She figured it out where he came running from and fucked her so good. She figured it out what the fuck was going on. You was down there with them strippers. Because she walked away. She walked away. She looked at Haley. She like thought, and she walked out. Did y'all notice that? I noticed that. I was like, oh, Brandy caught it. Oh, you got on white after Labor Day. Here comes Uncle Clifford. You got on white after Labor Day. She was like, okay, partner. So they partners now down at the Pynk. So now Mercedes in the next scene, they're down to the Pynk, and Grandma's sitting there making drinks. She offers Haley a drink. Haley says, I don't drink. She was like, what type of hoe is you? You don't drink? So she was like, she makes the drinks or whatever. And then here comes Mercedes. He was like, Mercedes, this ain't never going to be your last dance, huh, bitch? Mercedes, poor Mercedes. She can't get out of the Pynk. She was like, did you take care of that? He's like, it's taken, Uncle Clifford said it's taken care of. And I think that Mercedes killed Montavious. I do. I don't think that Autumn, Haley, or whoever the fuck her name is, I don't think she did. I think it was Mercedes. And I think that's the reason why Mercedes went down to the church to ask for forgiveness for killing somebody. And she was more stressed out than Haley was, more stressed out than Uncle Clifford was. She wasn't down at the courthouse either. So I think she killed him. What do y'all think? Do y'all think Mercedes killed Montavious? I do. And that was it. It was a really good episode. She was like, last night, and Grandma said, last night was yesterday. Today is tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Whatever happened last night, don't worry about it. I know she'd probably know everything, but don't worry about it. It was a good episode, season finale. I can't wait to season 2. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting. Katori Hall said, we are stolen people living on stolen land. Auctions have torn our families apart, erased our mother tongues, our culture. In front of the Mississippi flag that dons Confederate stars and bars, Haley Colton uses stolen stacks to save the Pynk by any means necessary. We saved the Pynk, y'all. We don't have to. Y'all can stop your GoFundMe. All right. Anyways, y'all, I'm out of here. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. It's getting hot down here. It's gonna be hot today. We'll talk. All right. We'll talk in the comments. Peace.